So the mental makeup of the Celtics and Pacers is drastically different. The Celtics have been a mess all year. The Pacers have banded together to fight through this year without Oladipo. And all that matters, but I do want to spend a lot of time on the basketball stuff, and the first thing that really interests me is the Kyrie Irving and Myles Turner dynamic. They don't play the same position, but they're going to be interacting with each other a lot for obvious reasons. Kyrie is the main dude of the Celtics offense, and he's going to want to get to the rim, and Myles Turner is going to try to block every single shot that Kyrie attempts, and he might be able to do it, as the guy has been in the running for Defensive Player of the Year all season. So it's just going to be really interesting to see what plays out between these two. I mean, Kyrie averages about 6 to 7 pick and rolls a game according to NBA.com. He averages about a point per possession, which is really damn good. But Myles has been swallowing up pick and rolls all season, so something is going to give between those two. But of course, when you are talking about the Kyrie screens, well, you got to mention Al Horford. His spacing is a problem for a lot of teams, and the Pacers are going to have to make some decisions on how to do that. I do trust Myles Turner to be able to defend Kyrie and Horford better than a lot of guys, but we saw it in this last possession when these two teams played recently. Myles Turner up top had to stick with Horford, and Kyrie was able to get a layup, so Indiana's going to have to deal with that. I want to talk about Jason Tatum now real quick. I made a video recently where I said this guy's the biggest X factor on this team. I still think he is. I just really hope he attacks the basket against Indiana. Given how good of a defensive player Myles Turner is, he can definitely make guys shoot pull-up jumpers, and that's already Tatum's problem, so just be aggressive and go to the rim, Jason. As for Gordon, I'm expecting Hayward to be decent. I don't think he's just suddenly going to flip the switch and be Utah Jazz Hayward. So yeah, Myles' defense is going to matter. What would be interesting is if the Pacers found ways to get him off of Horford to give him more freedom on defense. The best way to do that would probably be put him on Marcus Smart and then dare Marcus to make threes. I don't think I would predict that to happen, but I guess it's something Nate McMillan could decide to do. But this Indiana defense is not just Myles Turner. They have a bunch of guys who are pretty tall, strong dudes who just know what they're doing on the defensive side of the floor, so we can't forget them. Now I want to mention Horford and Aaron Baines, because Stevens has been going to this lately, and these two together have been kind of amazing for the Celtics. The net rating is through the roof and all that, and Brad has said that he's wanted to go to this more, but Baines has just been hurt so much this season he hasn't been able to do it. And if the Celtics are able to go to this lineup whenever they want, I don't know if the Pacers have a real chance in this series, and it may be up to Thad Young to play Aaron Baines off the floor. These guys are opposites as players. Thad is an athlete who plays on the perimeter a lot of the time and occasionally shoots jump shots, but he might have to take a few more than he's comfortable with, which still might not even be that good for the Pacers. Myles Turner is an awesome shooter, so if Aaron Baines gets matched up on him, then they're not going to have a problem there. And then when we talk about shooting, we do have to go to Bojan Bogdanovic, who has been leading the Pacers offense for a while now. He had a couple months there where he was putting up over 20 points a game. They are going to need him to score, because if he's just putting up 15, 16 point nights, then I don't think the Pacers are going to be able to win this series. But what's interesting is how they use him off the ball so much, cutting and getting off-ball screens for three-pointers. So that could allow him to get some more open shots, but the Celtics are going to have a few guys to throw at him. I'm going to guess Marcus Smart would be the primary defender on him, but Jaylen Brown is no slouch defensively either. So it's going to be Bojan's job to get the advantage of these guys consistently throughout this series, and that might be asking too much of the guy. Plus, the Celtics could just load up on him, because it's not like the Pacers are loaded with offense around him, which is why I want to talk about Myles Turner a little bit more. He's got to be aggressive in this series. If he's the normal 10 to 12 points a game, play off the ball, shoot mid-range jumpers Myles Turner, it's just going to be tough for these guys to put up enough points. So Myles is going to have to get aggressive, which is against his nature, but I think this team is going to need it, because again, while Bojan is having his best year and is making contested shots and handling the ball a lot, you can't expect this guy to be a one-man show in a 7-game series. Now we can get to Domantas Sabonis, 6th Man of the Year candidate. He's been great for Indiana, and I think he can definitely give the Celtics some problems with his energy and cutting and offensive rebounding and all that. But my fear is he and Myles Turner didn't play together that much this season. They're going to need Myles a lot in this series, to the point where it might knock down Sabonis' minutes so much that he's only playing low to mid-20s, and I just don't know if that's enough minutes for him to really have a positive impact here. And, I mean, you could try playing them together, but again, they didn't play that much, so there's a chance they just don't have that chemistry. If we can have some negative X factors, we've got Terry Rozier, and the other is Tyreke Evans. Both of these guys have been bad this season. With Rozier, he thinks he's a lot better than he actually is. And in the case of Tyreke, the dude just can't make anything. He has made like 6 layups all season. Anyway, if we could talk about the mental makeup of these teams, which certainly matters. Celtics have had problems, we all know this. Kyrie hates everybody hates Kyrie. The young players think they're ready to take a million shots a game. On the other side of things, the Pacers have been a band of brothers who have figured it out with their star player down, and they play hard, they play together, their home crowd is amazing, and they're going to have 3 of those games in this series. And all this stuff certainly matters, even if I don't devote as much time to it. So I've got to do a prediction, and then we can get out of here. I think I'm going to go with the Celtics in 6 games. As a frustrated Celtics fan, there's certainly things I could picture for why they'd lose this series, but I think the talent disparity is just a little too much for the Pacers to win this.